the game is the game. Like I saw pretty much exactly what I was expecting from these two teams matching up with each other at this point in the season. What I wasn't expecting was to see a beleaguered, beaten, battered Caleb Williams. Like, last night was the cry for help. And he's still trying. He is out there trying to make plays. And I know that some of this stuff is on him. Like, I get that. But last night was the first night where I felt like, oh no, like he's in danger. Like, they put him in danger last night.
In physical danger is one thing, and that's absolutely true, and we saw it. But in danger of losing his comfort level and his moxie as a quarterback, I felt like I was watching new nervousness, new anxiety that wasn't there earlier in the year. Felt like I was watching Happy Feet, the worst it's been all year, where he's looking to break pocket but then still doesn't throw it, and he's scrambling and it's chaos. I felt like I was watching a dude who's newly broken, as opposed to a rookie who's trying to make the transition, which we're used to dissecting and we're used to looking at. This felt like a dude who has been damaged by the situation as I was watching it there last night. And that's horrifying to think about, that they might have, instead of just botching his entrance to the NFL, which they clearly botched it. That's one thing. But then to damage him as a quarterback by the end of the year, that to me is the nightmare scenario. If you have potentially broken this dude and damaged him as a player, then you've bearsed him worse than I thought you could, a number one overall pick.
This conversation that Speegs and I are embarking on, like, this next part is really layered. So hang with this for a second. Here's the thing. Them promoting Thomas Brown made all the sense in the world. Now, I threw out a couple other options to be interim head coach, partially because there seemed to be at least the connection between play caller and quarterback. And I wanted to keep that vibe going. If I'm Thomas Brown, I can't say no. I can't, if the Bears come to me after they do this thing with Eberflus, I can't say, no, I don't want to be the interim head coach. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. It allows me to be seen in a very different light. And I have an opportunity to get the actual job of being the head coach of the Bears. I think that they will eventually realize that it was a mistake to do this, even though it made sense, because the ramifications of it, all the things that you're piling on to Thomas Brown with all of the things that he has to do as the head coach of the team takes away. And this is part of the issue that I had with Eberflus. Being, to me, unless you're elite, being a head coach of a team is more than just being the play caller. You've got to be in every room. You've got to know what's going on with your team. And that takes a lot of time and practice for someone to perfect. And they may have ruined the trajectory of both of those men's career by doing this, even though it was the right thing to do.
You think that's behind the new nervousness, the new anxiety that I feel like I'm watching with Caleb? And do you agree that it is a new version of broken that we're seeing?
I think that what you're seeing, I think that you're right, that what we saw him be a little skittish yesterday.
Yeah.
But I think that that's a byproduct of the physical pounding that he's taking on now. Some of that is his fault. Some of that is his fault, and we'll get into that in a second. But I agree with you that we're seeing it play out in a different way right now. In fact, Troy Aikman, after the Amagaji sack, he was talking about this, and he was talking about how the sacks they're on the quarterback too. It's not just an offensive line stat.
sacks are a quarterback stat. Everybody points to the offensive line, but if you're a quarterback that does not want to be sacked, you're not going to take it. And you watch Caleb, and he just has not gotten the ball out of his hands in a timely manner. And as a result, you see the 56 sacks that he's had.
Yeah, Aikman is on this now. He kind of said it with us last week with Wani, and now he said it a lot last night. Now everybody's going to be running with it. Here's a little more from Aikman in the third quarter on Caleb holding the ball too much.
You go back and you take a look at Caleb Williams here in this first half, and this is some of what he has been missing, not just tonight, but really throughout this season, and just not anticipating where to go with the football based on coverages. You see, these are wide open, not just open. These are wide open players, and it shows itself a lot in this offseason. I think just getting in there and really spending the time learning defenses and where to go with the football will be a big benefit.
My God, let's hang out in just this stuff for a minute here, Lawrence.
I thought that last part was a little harsh.
Woo, is that harsh?
Troy.
Got to learn to read defenses?
I thought that was a little harsh.
In general? Well, because it seems like there's a lot of stuff that's happening here. There's him holding on to the ball too much and not throwing it fast, as we know. But there's also this idea of the patterns themselves and the route trees not having available targets that he can throw it to quickly enough.
There was a back to the San Francisco game. There was the play where they were running, I think it was a mesh concept, where you had 4 guys in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wait, who's the primary receiver on this? Because it didn't look like anyone knew. It felt like everyone was like, well, I'm running the rub route for Cole. Well, I'm running the rub route for DJ.
Yeah.
Well, I'm running the rub route for Keenan. Well, I'm running the rub route for Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, who's supposed to catch the ball?
Yeah.
None of them.
And there appeared to be some of that last night, but there's also like this play where Rome Odunze is wide open in the middle of the field, and they show us the replay from behind the quarterback's angle.
Well, they're going to bring Metellus in the middle. He comes right in the middle, and the reason they bring him is they want to tie up the running back. Now, Rome Odunze, he's right over the middle of the ball, and that's where Caleb Williams should have gone with it. If he just sees it, puts it on him right away, they've got a first down. And, those are the things that when you watch him, he's just slow to anticipate, slow to react, and that's the difference in punting the football or picking up a first down.
This is Justin Fields territory in terms of analysis.
Yep.
And
Troy opened the door. Troy opened the door because now it's everywhere.
We're not supposed to be here.
Nope.
Again. This is a different kind of talent. And I think he is a different kind of talent. And I think, in fact, he showed it. We saw so much in the first half of the year to see that it was different. That's why, to me, it feels like the damage of what has gone on. And that's the scary part, is that we've allowed it to get here, and the Bears have allowed it to get here. And it's why these now sudden conversations about, well, should they just sit him down as opposed to continuing to expose him with an offensive line that needs to be remade and a coaching staff that's going to be rebuilt and a different offense? Thomas Brown inherited one as we played the sound yesterday. All of a sudden, these conversations about sitting him down to protect him from the rest of the year have way more merit than I ever thought that they would have. I still don't do it. But I understand the thought process way more than I ever thought I would. It sucks.
Yeah, it's scary when you start seeing your quarterback's name next to David Carr's. And there are a lot of people, Carr included, that feel like his rookie year doomed him to the quarterback that he ended up being for his career. We could make an argument the other way on that too, that he was just kind of going to be that guy and was probably overdrafted as the number 1 draft pick that year. All I know is I want him to keep playing, but I don't understand why, if what you want is for more real experience, real game experience for Caleb Williams, why aren't you doing the things that are going to allow him to succeed? Why aren't you just saying, you know what, we're going to spend a lot of time in max protection. We're going to have two guys in a route. We got two veteran wide receivers. They can make it work. We might have some opportunities to release Cole on some of that stuff too, to try and make plays. Your offensive line is bad. You keep singling up your worst offensive lineman. What type of stuff is that?
But the thing is, Lawrence, he was getting the ball out quicker a few games ago. So then it gets back to the point that you made a couple of minutes ago, is the shift of Thomas Brown to the sidelines part of this. Like, he got the ball out a lot quicker and a lot more decisively, literally 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. And then there is regression. And I don't know whether that is regression based on him thinking, well, here's my opportunity to do some hero ball. Or look, I can do some of this stuff I did against Minnesota late in that game. And he's like, whether he's not as humble as he should be or like willing to just get the ball out. But there is regression.
I actually want Caleb to be more arrogant.
I don't know, man, because that ball should be getting the hell out. You don't have an offensive line that you can trust to sit back there. And Thomas Brown said it post-game. He flat out blamed the lack of their ability to protect. And like the one time we did ask him to hold it a long time, he got hit from the backside. And yes, he could have had Chip help and Max protect there, but they can't freaking protect. So you got to get the ball out quick. And I felt like he knew it 3 weeks ago, and now he's back to holding it way too damn long.
What Chris Carter told me in Canton, football is hard. And when you're getting beaten up, when you have, think of it this way. Think of the pressure that's on Caleb Williams to try and make this thing function, to make this organization function. It's him. He's the only thing that people have as a sliver of hope that things, I can't imagine the way that he feels right now. And he's seen 3 offensive coordinators inside of a season. He saw his coach get fired. He's seen his offensive line, even when fully healthy, be bad. He's seen ridiculous play calls that don't make any sense, concepts that don't match up. He saw one guy who had no idea what he was doing to start his career. He had an offensive coordinator who didn't know what he was doing. And here we are.
Here we are with the possibility of this kid now being damaged and everything that his father feared would happen to him in Chicago happening to him now in Chicago.
It's really, really scary.